Our government has many responsibilities towards Nigerian citizens. We're going to see them in the course of today's lesson on the government's responsibilities. Do you think the government is more responsive to interests of the majority of its citizens or to the interests of an elite minority? That is, the government responding more to the ordinary citizen than the rich and wealthy. Of course, we know that government are responsible for providing services that individuals cannot effectively provide for themselves. First, let's look at the meaning of government. Government is a group of people elected or appointed to rule a country or a state. So, government is a group of people or persons elected or appointed to rule a country or a state. So, governments, like I said earlier, are responsible for providing services that individuals cannot effectively provide for themselves. For example, we have the military, defense, fire, and police departments. Okay, so the federal government of Nigeria has its responsibility enshrined in the constitution of the country. Okay, so Nigeria as a federation, like the US, means that all the individual states are independent and self-governing. Okay, so Nigerian government is made up of federal, state, and local. Okay, the federal government has 3 branches, and then the states, okay, have their own governors that mans and manages the affairs of the individual states. We have 36 states in the country, okay, and 774 local government areas in Nigeria. So the different levels of Nigerian government have a lot of responsibilities and a lot of work to do. Okay, so we need to know how a government gets their money to pay for all the things that they always do. Government's role in the society. One of government's main role is to provide goods and services for citizens using their tax monies. Okay, so the income tax, the money that the government have generated from the sales of natural resources, for example, in Nigeria. Okay, now let's look at the government responsibilities of the federal government. Number one, providing the police and the army to keep all the Nigerian citizens safe, making laws for the country, planning the country's education, providing money for the state and local government, printing and circulating Nigeria's currency. Okay, so these are the responsibilities of the federal government of Nigeria. Now we are going to look at the responsibilities of the state government and further with the responsibilities of the local government. Okay, now the responsibility of the state government, first of all, providing clean water and housing for citizens of the state, providing schools, hospitals, and roads for the state, making laws for the state through the State House of Assembly. Okay, like the case of Benin City, the State House of Assembly is at Ring Road there, okay, close to the Europe Hall. So that is where our laws for Edo State is determined. Now, responsibilities of the local government. First, building and maintaining local markets, naming of roads and numbering of houses, arranging rubbish disposal in the local government area. So the local government, they are more of the grassroots government. Okay, so they are very close to the people. They are closer to the people. So we have itemized their responsibilities to include building and maintaining local markets, naming of roads and numbering of houses, okay, and then waste disposal. Now, the government divides its responsibilities among different ministries, agencies, and parastatals. Okay, so when these divisions are done, the work goes on smoothly. So we're going to see how the government work. So we've said that it works by dividing its responsibilities among ministries, agencies, and parastatals. So let's look at the meaning of A ministry. A ministry is a part of government responsible for things like education, health, or agriculture. So we have various ministries in this country. Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Aviation, Communication, Ministry of Agriculture, okay? And then we have various ministries and departments and agencies that see to the day-to-day running activities of the Nigerian government. So let's look at some of these ministries and the ministers in charge. First, we have the Minister for Petroleum is President Muhammadu Buhari. Minister of Niger Delta is Godswill Akpabio. Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige. Minister of Education is Adamu Adamu. And Minister of Health is Osage Hanire, is from Edo State, Nigeria. Okay, so we've seen these ones, will continue with others. Now we have Zainab Ahmed as the Minister of Finance. She's a female. Sabo Nanono is the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development. Lai Mohammed is the Minister of Information and Culture. Babatunde Fashola is the Minister of Works and Housing. Rotimi Amechi is the Minister of Transportation. So we've just decided to take this few 10 so that we can just look at them. There are other ministries, over 51 ministries in this country, and they have ministers that are manning them, okay? So at the federal level, you call them ministries. At the state levels, you call them commissioners are the ones in charge of these various commissions in the states, okay? Now, we're going to look at agencies and parastatals of Nigerian government, okay? These agencies to help the government to perform its day-to-day activities. We have NAFDAC, which means National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control. We have the NNPC. Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation is in charge of the manufacturing and distribution of petroleum in Nigeria and the sales of crude oil in the international market. We have the Power Holding Company of Nigeria, now BEDC, Benin Electricity Distribution Company. Then we have Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, which is the EFCC. Okay, so there are other many agencies. We have ICPC. Now, these are agencies of government that help to run the state. Civil servant. Who is a civil servant? Okay, a civil servant, these are Nigerian citizens hired to work for the ministries, agencies, and parastatals of government. So we said that civil servants are Nigerian citizens hired to work for the ministries, agencies, and parastatals of government. They are being paid oftentimes monthly, okay, and then they are meant to carry out the day-to-day running activities of the government to see for the smooth transition of the daily business that the government have to do. Now, how does the government pay for its work? Okay, government pay its workers, that's a civil servant, and does other things like building of roads, infrastructural facilities, and so on. So how do they pay for their work? The government pay for its bills through the following: taxes from citizens, sales of natural resources. In the case of Nigeria, we have crude oil. Then oftentimes, they borrow loans from international banks. Okay, we have the IMF, International Monetary Fund, and then African Development Bank. There are other international banks that the government could always go to in terms of rescue. Thank you for watching this video. I believe that you're at home with the government's responsibilities. Try to upload your video assignment. Please be good.